God didn't save me, then that was His will for me to be dead.
It was God's will that you died.
Yeah. You have no chance.
It is the story of one woman's escape from a local church where she says she was brainwashed as a child and nearly died giving birth. Mira Cunningham talked only to K2 about her life in the Followers of Christ Church. Now she says she wants women in the church to know they can get out.
And on your side, investigator Tom Jensen has the interview you will see only right here on K2 now. A woman who left her church knowing she would be shunned by everyone she knew, including her own family.
This little church in Oregon City was the only way to go to heaven.
For Myra Cunningham, it seems like a lifetime ago, and yet like yesterday.
They brainwash you into keeping you there, because if they didn't tell people from birth that if you leave that church you're going to go to hell, why would you stay there?
She says it's almost surreal to think she was ever a part of that little church in Oregon City.
We were called the Kissers.
Why is that?
Because the members of the church greet each other, they call it with a holy kiss.
It's not the holy greeting that bothers Myra, nor is it the reason she left the church.
None of it made sense to me. I mean, they don't go to the doctor like you said, but yet we would go to the dentist and we'd go have our eyes checked. Well, they're doctors, and the explanation would be they aren't going to save your life.
Myra started asking questions before she was a teenager.
But I would always question my dad, and he would get upset with me because he couldn't show it to me in the Bible. It's like, where did you get that from? Why do we do this? And where is that in the Bible? You know, and he couldn't show me.
And she had no idea why she couldn't play sports or take part in any activities with people from the outside world. Myra says she was taught the worldlies, as followers call every non-member, will all go to hell. Fear tactics, she now believes. Church founder Walter White hammered into the heads of every follower to keep them in line.
I was actually scared of him. You know, a little kid, this big guy out there, and, you know, talking from the pulpit.
And she says White made sure women knew their place in the church.
Women don't have any say. Women couldn't even go to college.
Wasn't allowed in the church.
It's definitely discouraged because you're out with the worldly people, as they call it.
Myra's life in the church started deteriorating with the birth of her first child. At just 16, complications with her first daughter's birth could have killed her, and there was no doctor. At 18, bleeding during the birth of her second daughter nearly did kill her. And she says church midwives did nothing until she demanded help.
And they would just said that was God's will for me to die.
What was going through your mind at that time?
Not to pass out because I didn't want to die, and I knew they wouldn't. You know, nobody's going to call an ambulance. Or
Myra left the church 2 years later, even though she knew she would be shunned by all followers, even her family. She kept quiet for years.
Another local faith-healing couple pleads not guilty in the death of their newborn child.
Can you guys tell me, why didn't you get medical attention after your water broke? But after seeing recent news of church children dying from curable illnesses, Myra decided to tell her story in hopes female followers will listen.
I would encourage them not to stay there and just to leave and stand up for themselves.
Myra now has her own business where she makes and sells aromatic soaps and candles. And she says life is sweet now that she's not living in fear.
I look at my kids, and my kids are college educated, and so am I, and it feels good. I feel to be what I want to be.
The On Your Side investigators have repeatedly asked church members to respond to allegations of shunning and questions about church policies regarding doctors, but they refuse to talk. Tom Jensen, K2 News.
Do you have a story that needs to be told? The On Your Side investigators would like to hear from you. You can email them at investigators@katu.com.